Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back. Season 2 of Covering Your Health with Evelyn Erives, presented by IEHP. I can't believe it. Here we are, a full year of episodes under our belt, and we're kicking it off with a bang. This is going to be so special. You are in for a treat. Let me just tell you. We're joined by American Idol winner Abi Carter, who's partnering with IEHP to raise awareness for mental health in youth in the region. The campaign was formally announced in late October, timed with the launch of Abi's highly anticipated album release of Ghosts in the Backyard, out now. I'm so excited for her. Mental health awareness is a subject very, very close to the Indio natives' heart, as well as mine. We've talked about this in the past. My husband's been on the show. We've really dived deep into mental health, and I think we're going to get some really great insight from Abi today. She's been publicly outspoken about her own mental health journey, and her debut album covers really many themes under the umbrella of this very important subject. Today's conversation will cover everything about Abi, from her passion, her music, her upbringing right here in the IE, and why she is on a mission to change lives.
Welcome to Covering Your Health, a wellness podcast dedicated to covering all areas of living a healthy and happy lifestyle. From healthy hearts to understanding health plans and everything in between, each episode will provide you with a better understanding of managing your health, preventative care, and staying on the right path for your family's wellness journey. The Covering Your Health podcast is presented by IEHP. Now, your host, Evelyn Erives.
Well, I am so excited. I have American Idol winner Abi Carter with me. Hi.
Hi, Evelyn. It's so great to talk with you today.
This is such a pleasure. So everybody behind the scenes has been just overjoyed with the fact that you're going to be on the show. This is our season 2 debut show. Wow. So yeah, I know it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
And you're from here.
I am.
And that makes it even more special to us. So.
It really is. It just is so special. I think that the support that I've kind of gathered from this entire community has gotten me to where I am, and I wouldn't be here without it. And so to be able to come back and do this in my own community, it's just it's so heartwarming.
Yeah, it is.
It's just.
You're the hometown hero. We said it outside. We're like, you're like the hometown hero now, which is so cool. I mean, like, we've not had an American Idol like that before. You know, we've had people that have made the show from the area, but not the idol. Like, that's pretty cool.
It wasn't my goal going into the show. I just wanted to do something that I would look back on and be like, you know what, I gave it my best shot. You know, I wasn't planning on
winning. Like, that wasn't in your head. Like, I'm going on, and if I don't win, that's the end all.
No, I mean, I was in college getting my bachelor's in psychology, and so I was planning on going on and getting my master's, being a marriage and family therapist, and I just one day I decided, you know what, I really need to just do something artistically that I'm passionate about. Yeah. And I might never get this opportunity ever again. I graduated early, and now I have this year that I would still be in school technically. And so I just decided to give it my best shot. And about a month later, I got a DM from the casting producers at American Idol who were just scouring the internet trying to find people to come on the show.
Oh, are you serious? So they brought you in.
Well, I had like less than 200 followers on all platforms combined, so I don't know how they found me. Like, by the grace of God, they found me.
Wow.
And they just asked if I was interested, and I was like, no, that's really scary. I'm not going to do that. But I don't know. I ended up hopping on a call with them, and they kind of talked me through what the process would look like. And I was like, okay, it doesn't seem that scary, and I probably won't get aired anyway, so I won't be embarrassed. But I went on, and they let me through.
Oh, and okay, wait. I know. So I was supposed to start with like a question about like growing up in India and blah, blah, blah. And like,
and
tell
I'm just
me.
like,
No, I love this. I love where it's going better because I was going to tell you. So I rewatched, I had seen it. I had seen your audition. Yeah. I rewatched your audition this week, and it's different now. Like, it was amazing then, but it's so different now to watch it and know like who you are. And like, I've been doing research, you know, just to have you in and all of that. I cried.
I can't even talk about it without, like, I can't even think about it without crying. I can't.
So she performed. If you haven't seen it, just look it up on YouTube. It is worth it. She does What Was I Made For? And it's okay, like that's a beautiful song.
Oh, it
right?
is.
And Billy does
A
it
masterpiece of a song.
wonderfully.
By a masterpiece of an artist.
You get on the piano, and I can almost see it in Katy Perry's face. She's like, is she gonna be able to do this song?
Yeah.
She kind of had that look of like, I don't know. Not everyone can do this song. And you just blew it away. It was so amazing. And like I was sitting there crying at my computer. And I was like, oh my God. And then their comments right after are, I think she's the American Idol. Like they knew it right then. What did that feel like?
I didn't. I think that I kind of chalked it up to, this is a reality TV show. I'm sure they say this to 15 people just in case,
Yeah.
and then they'll like
so
add
they can
it
edit.
and be like, they'll be like, oh, we cut this out of their audition. See it now. We called it. I figured that's what was going on. But I mean, being on the show, you kind of realize it's more real than you think it is.
Yeah.
And it was very surreal. It was overwhelming. I'll never forget. I will never forget coming out of, I can't talk about it.
Oh.
I came out of my audition and, I expected my mom to cry. I expected my sisters to cry, but off camera, when everything was said and done and they were unmiking me, my brother was crying.
Oh.
And like,
there's a scene when he like is the
I need
brother.
a tissue.
I don't even know if I have any.
I'm sorry.
Somebody help. If there's a moment where your brother's like under the door trying to listen to you sing.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's singing, my sister's so talented. And I like that hit me too. I have a brother.
Yeah.
And when your siblings are that supportive of you, there's nothing like that.
No.
Because, those are your contemporaries, right?
Yeah.
Those are the people that give you the most hell and also give you the most love, right? They're your people.
This is like
They're your first
officially a
people.
problem for like my eyes right now.
We're going to get some tissue. Look at Julia's on it. We're bringing in tissue. Hold on.
I love you. I think the truth is, I think that moment hit me so hard just because, my family's been through so much, and I feel like a lot of the time, specifically men or boys in our world, they're kind of taught to not have emotions and to kind of bury it down, especially when it's something as vulnerable as crying or expressing sadness or pride. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. So to see him kind of break that, and for me, I felt like you won. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It felt like I won. It felt like he won. It felt like my family had finally done something that we were doing together. It totally felt like a group effort.
And then on a sibling zone, you can hold it over his head for the rest of his life.
Of course. I'll be like, dude,
it's
you
so
cried.
Okay, so let's talk about some of that from busking on the streets of Indio. You're doing gigs. You're doing all of these kinds of things to this life now, right? A lot has happened in a year. So tell me about those early days with that process, and how did you stay sane through that entire American Idol thing?
The funny thing is, while I was on American Idol, I was still busking. Like, there's so much time in between the episodes. So I auditioned October 24th of 2023. And the next filming thing that we did wasn't until December for Hollywood Week. And so there's like a month in between.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm still busking. I'm still working because I don't know how far I'm going to go. I'm not going to, I mean, I could get voted off this next round. But I didn't. And then we did Hollywood Week and I came back and I kept busking. I kept doing that. I made it onto the top 24, and then we went to Hawaii and came back and I kept busking, and it was just
in between all of it.
And then we didn't start having consecutive shows where I needed to not be in the Valley, be home until April.
And you started this process in October.
Yep. Well, actually, they DM'd me in June. So it was a really long, drawn-out process. Totally. Oh, they're so on it. Their season ends, and they're immediately like reaching out to new people for the next
ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Well, what has this? Now you're there. You're at the end. You're in those final rounds. You're making beautiful music with like big celebrities are on the show.
Insane.
It's crazy.
Like singing with John Bon Jovi was probably going to be the highlight of my life. Like, who gets to say that? Nobody gets to say that.
And here's the really fun part. She's educated. So, you know, if this doesn't work out, she's got the whole backup
I get my
plan.
master's, like, no problem.
If Bon Jovi and I just, this doesn't work, we're good. I got a whole thing. So since then, now you win American Idol.
Yeah.
And here we are months later. What has this been like for you, the after?
Oh, I mean, I just kind of decided to really delve into music itself. And I wanted to start writing and writing passionately about things that I really believed in and really felt. I think I was figuring it out while I was on the show, and I didn't really know who I was until the show was over. So there's so many things. I mean, I released 2 songs during that time, and like I look back at them now and I'm like, I could have done better.
Oh.
You know, like I think I'm definitely a different artist than I was even really portrayed on the show, because I didn't know who I was on the show. I was figuring it out as we were taping.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't even imagine that process. Well, they do have you do so many different kinds of genres,
I mean,
right?
they have like a rock and roll night. They have songs that make you want to dance. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, like, what would somebody like Phoebe Bridgers do for like songs that make you want to dance? Like, she's a very, very specific kind of artist, and she doesn't make that kind of music, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. Yeah. So it was just hard.
How do we do this? How do we make it mine?
Yeah, it was hard. And so, you know, I was doing things that I was having so much fun doing, but I didn't know if they necessarily represented me as like a musician. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you went to school here at Cal State San Bernardino. So amazing. Did you travel in did you drive? Did you make that commute?
So there's actually a campus in Palm Desert.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, there's a campus in Palm Desert for Cal State San Bernardino. I think they're trying to make it into Cal State Palm Desert within the next couple of years. I think it's the thing.
Well, there's so many people. It would serve
the
everybody,
demand is actually very high, and I'm surprised that we haven't had one before.
Out there, yeah,
you know?
Agreed.
So
my daughter is also at Cal State San Bernardino, the campus here in San Bernardino.
How does she like it?
She loves it.
Yeah?
She loves it. She really does. And she's in her final year, and so she's in this phase of her life, which I know you felt, where she's like, what's next? What's next? Am I behind? Am I on time? Am I... You know, and I feel like with so many young people now, especially, and I feel like even more so in California, we put so much pressure on our kids. Yeah. It feels very hard. Like, I need to make this much money if I want to stay in California. All of those things, right? So you graduate and you have this year and American Idol calls you. So you got a degree in psychology and you wanted to be a counselor. Do you feel like that helped you through this process, like you having that degree?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It helped me feel like if it didn't work out, I'd be fine.
Backup plan.
You know what I mean?
Yes, okay.
But at the same time, I feel like music is what I wanted to pursue. Yeah. And I didn't know if I pursued music, if I was giving up everything that I had worked so hard for. Yes. I mean, a degree is no joke. Going to college for 4 years is no joke. And, you know, and I graduated summa cum laude. I worked really hard during that time. So some of me felt like, did I throw it away, or is it helping me build? Like, is it giving me the strength that I needed to be able to go and do this? Because nobody really thinks to themselves, like, I'm going to pursue music and it's going to be my full-time job. Yeah. Because so many people want to do that. Oh, and the market is so saturated. And I don't know. I didn't think even going into American Idol that I was going to get nearly as far as I did. Yeah. Let alone win it. And then it just catapulted me. It catapulted me to where I'm at now.
It seems like, though, it adds something to your toolbox, right? I always think of like, you have more things in your toolbox to help you navigate whatever life throws at you. There's nothing that you can fully control, right? So that's the thing I always tell my kids. I was like, we can't really control everything. You can control certain aspects of your life, but you never know where your path is going to wind and who's going to call and what you're going to get into that you're like, I don't really like that kind of job. You have to learn, right? Yeah. And you did have that. Now you have this foundation.
You know, I do think that it helped me a lot. It helped me to understand how to process feelings. I mean, psychology is very big on just mental health. And since I was pursuing that, it helped me to then channel what I was feeling into music as a form of therapy for myself. And,
Right.
and I found that helping me so much. It helped me to understand things that I didn't even really understand before. Like I'd be writing a song and figure it out as I'm going. I'm like, oh, that's what I was feeling at that time. Like I wasn't angry. I felt betrayed, like, or something like that. It helped me process things, and it helped me get over grieving certain things, grieving the loss of friends or the loss of my childhood or, it helped me process it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And clearly you felt yourself going down a path before, separate from your music where you wanted to work with families and do therapy. Yeah. I'm sure that came from somewhere inside of you and somewhere where some sort of experience that you had. Now you're working, we have this wonderful partnership with IEHP, which we're so excited about.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is centered around mental health.
Yeah.
What do you hope to accomplish with that? Like what kind of awareness, what are you thinking that's going to look like?
I just want it to be destigmatized. I think that when I was in high school and my mom pushed me to get into therapy because I was going through a very rough time. I didn't want to for a really long time because I didn't want to. To me, therapy was like, well, that makes me not somebody who can figure it out on their own.
Am I broken?
Am I broken? Of course. And I didn't want to admit that to myself. And I felt like going to therapy was admitting that to myself. And I didn't realize until I was in it that it's just so not.
Yeah.
And I want to break the stigma around mental health awareness. I want to break the stigma around therapy and around resources that we have and reaching out and talking to people and having those emotions. I hope that, we were talking about how a lot of men feel like they can't show those emotions and gosh, so many people that I know would benefit so much from therapy. Like just talking through it, just understanding your own emotions, because I think a lot of the time we learn to channel them incorrectly.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. We did an episode on men's mental health and actually had my husband on the episode because we talked about his own mental health and what his journey looked like. And I always feel like it's something if we are taught younger, if we are shaped younger to understand that these things are okay, I think it's so wonderful that your mom encouraged you to go seek therapy, because there's also that stigma of, oh, my child, there's nothing wrong with my child.
100%.
And she had the capacity to understand, no, these are things I can't help her with, and that's okay. There are really smart people that have a lot more of those tools in their toolbox to help navigate that and to help you, get on that right path. So I commend you for doing it, because I feel like it's the more we talk, the better it's going to be, right? What else do you want to achieve with your partnership with IEHP?
I just want to get the word out there about how many resources we have. I think a lot of people might not even pursue it because they don't think that there's things for them to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What would you say to somebody, maybe a young person, maybe your same age or even a little bit younger, who is having a mental health issue? Something. They're going through something. What do you think that they should do?
It's been said before. This is definitely not a new statement, but you're not alone. You're absolutely not alone. The things that you're going through, people have gone through before, and people are currently going through. And you might not know how close they are. And you're not going to find that out unless you are reaching out. And if there's one thing that I know, it is that this community is a tight-knit community.
It really is,
because,
isn't it?
God, seeing even where I was a year ago versus where I am now, I wouldn't be here without the power of my community.
The power
without
of community.
The people rallying behind me and appreciating me and pushing me toward being who I am. And they want to do that for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just, they just need to know about it,
What you said is actually very powerful. And even though, yes, maybe it's been said before, not everyone has heard it. Not everyone has heard that. I remember even feeling very alone when I was younger as well. I remember having those moments of why does my brain think so negatively sometimes. When something happens, why do I think negative thoughts, right? There's a campaign that's going on right now called Never a Bother. And I'm actually a part of this campaign, and it's just getting the messaging out there that you are never a bother. You are never a bother to anyone. If you have an issue, just talk to somebody, whoever the close person is to you, or call. There are so many lines you can call now. There's so many resources out there to just get it off of your chest.
I remember feeling like I couldn't talk to people that I knew because I didn't want to bother them. I didn't want to weigh them down. It felt like I was a weight down. And I found that in talking to a therapist, somebody who is a professional in being able to compartmentalize their own feelings about a person, they are just so helpful because they can see things objectively, and they are just there to talk with you. They're just there to work through these things, and you're able to tell them things that you might not be comfortable telling people in your own personal, real life. Yeah. And there's just so many resources. There's so many ways that you can go about it. And there are people that are there for you. That care. Even when you feel like there's not.
Yeah. Agreed. I know your songwriting has been really therapeutic for you. There's a song that you have called what's the drug song? I can't think of it. Some people need drugs. Yeah. And I was listening to it yesterday, and I was like, this is so real. And it's funny because the way that you're singing it is very much there's a mental health message in there.
Oh yeah.
Clearly. Oh yeah. About it's okay.
Yeah.
There's some things going on with you that are not quite okay.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first started writing that song, it was in the kitchen, in my kitchen in my house with my mama, and we were kind of just talking about people who don't understand that their behavior can very much negatively affect the people around them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is kind of like the opposite side to mental health for people that are struggling. This song in particular is about being the victim of somebody who doesn't understand that they are not mentally well. Yeah. Yeah. So it started out so sarcastically, honestly.
It's a fun song.
It was a fun song.
It's a fun song.
It was just
with a good message in my mind.
Yup. It was basically, I was like, you know what? Some people just need drugs. Like some people need medical intervention. Yeah. And it's not a terrible thing. But it just is a fact that some people don't understand that their behavior can be very, very damaging. Yeah. For other people. And so it's a cycle. Hurt people, right? Totally. It's a cycle. And then I didn't know how to write it in a way that wasn't just making fun of it. Like I wasn't, because at the time I was really hurting from it. And, they say laughter is the best medicine.
It really
is. I was just trying to make a joke out of it. And I felt like that would make me feel better. But then I felt like the song was just making fun of it. And I realized, this is...
Yeah, I never felt that way with the version you came to.
Totally revamped it. Yeah. I was actually hanging out with two of my friends. One is a producer and a writer, and the other one is a writer and an artist, Holden Miller and Michael Edwards. And we were supposed to write something that day, and we weren't really coming up with any ideas. And I was like, there is this one song that I just haven't figured out how to really create and nail. And so we spent that day. I told them like my idea for it, and they were like, that's a
there's something there.
There's a story there. Yeah. Like there's something we can say. So we wrote a song about it, and it was kind of just, I honestly, as a victim, you go through stages of grief, I feel like. At first you deny that it's ever even happening. At some point you get angry and you get mad. And I remember I was writing it, and I was like, God, I just want to kill you. Like so much of me just wants to kill you. Like for what you've done to me, for what you've done to other people. Like you just don't get it. You don't get it. And when you're stuck in that sort of a relationship, for a long time you think that you can help them as well. You think you can fix them. But there's just sometimes certain people that you cannot help because they're not even willing to admit that they have a problem, that there is a problem, that they are the problem, that they need to go out and work on themselves. And so this was kind of the story of me being able to take a step back and be like, you know what? I can't help you. I've tried. I can't. You need professional help.
Yep.
And I deserve better. I need better. I deserve better. And you're sitting on your bedroom floor and you're repeating this to yourself because a lot of the time in these sort of situations, you convince yourself that you don't deserve it, that you don't deserve love, that you don't deserve to be treated well. And this was like that repeating part of the song toward the end, you're sick and I'm tired.
Yes, it's the most powerful part of the song. It hits home.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially if, I don't know, I'm speaking now as a woman, obviously, but I feel like, just like you said, there's so many times that we feel we can mother someone back to health.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm going to fix them because I am a woman and I like to help fix everybody and everything.
The controlling part of me really feels that way too.
Yeah, right.
You think you have power over
I have the power to fix this.
But it's just that repeating to yourself, you know what? Like, I do deserve better.
Yeah.
I need better. I deserve better. I need love.
Yeah.
And you repeat that until you fully realize it. And you're like, and then you take a step back and you put your hands up and you're like, and you just need medical intervention. You just need help.
And you need
drugs.
And let's just leave it at that.
And that's just what it is. And that's just what it is.
I always love this. I talk to my girlfriends about this all the time. When a woman is done, like, you know it. Like, know it.
You know, they say that, like, women dissociate from relationships during the relationships. That typically when women are, say, breaking up with somebody, they've already broken up with them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, over the course of a month, a year.
My brain is already flipped.
You're already out. And then that makes it so much easier to actually have that conversation and be like, you know what, I'm done. But that some people think that men don't until it's over. And then they grieve it. So women grieve during the relationship and men grieve outside of the relationship. It's an interesting thing.
It is. And I actually feel like that's way true.
Yeah. I know it's true myself.
I just had a bunch of flashbacks of past relationships.
And you're like, oh, wait, I was done way before it was actually done.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm happily married now. But before that. Well, let's lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your upbringing here in the IE. What are your favorite places to go? When you're here, where do you eat? Like, where do you have to hit? Tell me those things.
When I'm in the valley, when I'm in the Coachella Valley, man, I love the tram. I grew up going to the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway.
Oh, gosh, it's the best.
Yeah, no, we had like annual passes, season passes together, my whole family. We'd bring a picnic up and we'd just walk around and then find a place to sit down and have a picnic and talk about all the trees around us.
It's crazy because it's so, if you haven't done the aerial tram there, I highly recommend you do it because you are in two different places at one time.
Oh, you start in the desert and then you're up in like the mountains.
And there might be snow.
Yeah,
all of a sudden it's snow.
And then you get down, it's 120 degrees.
Yes, exactly. That's so cool.
I love that. My favorite food place is called Las Cazuelas Terraza, and it's on Palm Canyon.
Oh, okay.
In Palm Springs, and it is chef's kiss. I love it. I'm a big fan of Mexican food. Oh, yes. Big fan. There's a place called Armando's on El Paseo.
Yeah.
I'm so lactose intolerant, but they use like this specific cheese. It's just jack cheese.
Yeah.
But I ask for a side of it every time I go, and I become a problem for myself and everyone around me.
There are pills for that.
You know, they don't
you
work
might
for
need
me.
drugs for that.
Drugs for that. They don't work for me though.
Oh no.
They don't work, Evelyn.
All right. Well.
They just cause different
to get you a different
problems.
GI doctor.
IEHP
has good recommendations.
Has great resources for you for whatever your problems are.
Abby, you have been a pleasure. This is really fun. I hope you have enjoyed this conversation.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
Oh, thank you. And congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
On just all your success, on whatever that trajectory is going to be for you. You're a special person. You're a special light. We can all see it. I know American Idol saw it and America saw it. So I'm so grateful that I got to have a chat with you. How can people follow your journey and everything that's next for you? You got an album
I do.
Oh,
Ghosts in the Backyard.
Let's go.
It's actually coming out next Friday. Not tomorrow, but November 15th.
Wait, by the time this is out, I think it'll be out. So there we go.
November 15th.
Nice.
I released an album. It's called Ghosts in the Backyard. And it's the culmination of me figuring things out in myself. It's just an absolute throw at the wall therapy album for me.
It's an absolute Abi.
It's so me.
Yes.
It's so Abi.
I love it.
But I hope that people can relate to it as well. I mean, I've written songs about, I don't know, I wrote a song, I don't know if I can really even talk about it. I feel like I need to check with her first if I can talk about it. But yeah, I've written songs like about my close friends and things that they've gone through as well, and me like looking at it and being like,
from the friend perspective.
Yeah, from the friend perspective, and wanting to shake them and being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just missing.
We've all been there.
All been there. All been there. It's just about missing my childhood, missing my friends, and learning things about myself and learning things about the people around me.
Yeah.
And how to handle it and how to be a good person throughout all of it.
Through it all.
Yep.
I can't imagine that you wouldn't be. You are so special.
It.
And you're always welcome back here. So please, okay?
Oh,
next album, we'll get you back on the podcast again.
Please.
We love you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate it.
Good luck with everything.
I want to give you a hug.
We will.
Come here.